Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. I want to apologise first of all, got a spot there, you're just going to have to kind of deal with it. We're going back to our normal programming at the moment. We're going back to budget photography stuff rather than documentary stuff. Thinking about doing some more later on, but that is for later on. Anyway, so in 2021, we have smartphones that look like this and look like this. These are pretty big phones. Even this iPhone 12 is, well, probably the smallest, well, probably one of the smallest smartphones we've got. It's still pretty big at 5.4 inches. But only a few years ago, we had this. This is the Blackberry 89,000. And this is tiny. Like, here is my iPhone 12 for comparison, so you can see it. And then here is my Note 20 Ultra for comparison. This is absolutely tiny. Tiny! I love it. It's kind of cute in a way, but it's not very good. Kind of obvious because this phone came out in 2008. We have a 2.4 inch display. That is tiny, especially as I said, this is a 5.4 inch display. That's just tiny. It fits in your hand perfectly well and you can reach every single one of these keys. Now, this came out about a year or two after the iPhone, back when Blackberry was still king of the cell phone market, but now, who has a Blackberry in 2021? Like, bleh. It is running Blackberry OS. It has 3.2 megapixels rear camera and no selfie shooter. And I must say, as the pictures you're now seeing, they're not very good. Now, this phone does have two things that a lot of phones don't have in 2021. And that is because of, well, lots of different reasons, but it has micro SD card support and it has a headphone jack. It supports headphones. Look, it's in the side. Look, it's right there. Will your focus lens? No, you're gonna focus on my fat face. Can you see it? Look, there it is, look, right there. It's got a 3.5 inch headphone jack. In this tiny thing, and yet Apple can't put it in this. Come on, really? Now, I must say, as a millennial, I am now used to touchscreen keyboards, but I did grow up in the era of the Nokia 3310, and I've kind of missed a physical keyboard. Like this is, they're very, very small for my fat fingers. I have very fat fingers because I used to be a rock climber. Really should get back into that. Anyway, this has a very, very small, really nice feeling kind of keyboard. It's all very, very clicky. Like, it feels nice. It feels like my Apple keyboard that I use on my Mac just here. And it is a purely physical keyboard. It's not a taptic one or it's not an electric one like Apple are now doing on a lot of their mouse pads. It is a purely physical keyboard, which is really, really nice. It's just, there's a nice click to it. Now, there is one big problem. Well, there are more than one big problem, but even without them problems, it is the how you navigate the UI. For me, it is kind of bad, and that is the little scroll wheel. It kind of works like a mouse, and I really do not like it whatsoever. It really hurts your hands, especially if you're going to be using it for a very, very long time. It's not very good, to be brutally honest with you, especially in the era of smartphones where you have a touch screen. But then again, that could be because I'm used to having a touchscreen. Your mileage may vary. Now, battery life. This has, I can't believe this, a 1,400 milliamp hour battery and a removable back. And there is the battery. This is the battery that powers this thing. This is kind of tiny in a way. It fits in your hand. Now, when I was growing up, a lot of people had these devices. And because of how bad the battery life was on these devices, they wouldn't charge their phone. They would just buy like 2 or 3 of these and carry these battery packs around. And then when one battery died, they would just put the new battery in and they could carry on with their day. Now this takes forever to reboot. I'm not even kidding. It genuinely does take forever to reboot back into the operating system. It took genuinely 10 minutes to charge to 1% and boot into the operating system about half an hour ago when I was trying to charge it. Look, that's it, trying to boot into the operating system. It's very, very, very slow. Now, don't worry about them really, really small image files because you've only got 256 megabytes of internal storage. Now, yes, this is expandable up to about 4 gigs on your SD card. So you're gonna be you're not gonna be taking many pictures. But they are only 3.2 megapixels, so you probably could take quite a bit of pictures. Now they do look very, very bad. They're very, very washed out. It cannot handle low light. I can't seem to access the video mode for some reason because it wants an SD card, and every SD card that I try to use, it doesn't accept, it doesn't like them, so I haven't unfortunately been able to get any video. Now it is running Blackberry OS version 4.7. which isn't very good. It's very, very old and doesn't really have any app support. Most Blackberries nowadays are using Android, which is a free and open source software for phone manufacturers to use. They only have to pay a license to Google. Well, unless they use the open source. There's 2 different variants of Android. There's the Android that we know and love, like that's on Samsungs and Oppo phones and stuff like that, and then there is the free open source service which companies like Huawei are having to use. So yeah, so because it is running such an old version of software, it doesn't have software support and it doesn't even have an app store, so you're not going to be able to get stuff like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube. But then again, why would you want to watch YouTube on such a small 2.4 inch screen and it's really, really low res? It's a bad phone. I picked this up for about £15 at my local secondhand shop, a Computer Exchange, just for this video. Just for this video. Although it does have a flash, just there. Can you see that? A flash. So that's pretty good. So you can take low light shots, but I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway guys, thanks for joining me in this video and I'll see you in the next